Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel, and finally it's time for a good old-fashioned match preview. Welcome to the preview show, but not just any preview show, ladies and gents. It's time for the UEFA Champions League, and depending if you're a glass half full or glass half empty kind of guy, that might be good news or bad news to you, because we know how the Champions League usually goes by now. Yep. Strap yourselves in. Not only 6 games to preview this year, but 8. Let's hope it's a good one. If you haven't already, please make sure to hit like and subscribe. It'd be much appreciated. We'll be here for all 8 Champions League games this season. So if you want to stay in the loop with Celtic Football Club from here right up until the end of January, when this league phase comes to an end, well, you know what to do. Hit those buttons, and if you want to become a channel member, either use the link in the top line of the description or press the join button beside the channel name. Anyway, let's preview some football, shall we? Play that Champions League anthem loud. Yes, it's that time of year Celtic embark on their European journey as they look for better times in Europe this season. A new format, a new system. Long gone now are the days of the group stage football. For the first time ever, we'll see Celtic compete in this brand new 8-game league format of the competition. I'm very excited. We've covered it to death by now. If you don't know how it works before kick-off tomorrow night, then God help you, because you should know by now. I'm not going to go through it all, but as I said, I'm very excited for this. I think it's going to spice up the competition. I think it's going to make it a bit more entertaining now that we can get a variety of games throughout the opening procedures. We're not having to sit through the same repetitive fixtures in the group stage. I also think that it presents more of an opportunity for Celtic to get to the next rounds of the competition, because, you know, we're not saddled down and stuck with, you know, Real Madrid on 2 separate occasions or Atletico Madrid on 2 separate occasions. You know, we have 8 different teams, all of a different calibre and different difficulty. So I'm really looking forward to it. And here's a reminder on screen of the draw that Celtic got. 8 games, which compared to what could have happened in this draw, you could say it was a nice one for Celtic. Of course, it's the Champions League at the end of the day, and even this game against Slovan Bratislava tomorrow night is one of the difficult ties, because everyone is here for a reason. It's the Champions League after all. It's the creme de la creme of Europe. It's the elite teams of Europe. And although Slovan are one of the lower ranked teams in the competition, they aren't any mugs, and they'll come to Celtic Park tomorrow night with the thoughts of beating Celtic, a team who have famously struggled in Europe. Why wouldn't they? They won't be coming with anything to hide, with any sort of nerves. You know, Celtic are there for the beating. So both teams will be looking at each other as a massive opportunity for 3 points. But we're at home, we're at Celtic Park, and we need to end what has been a rotten form when it comes to Champions League openers. I was shocked to learn in my research before this game that in the 12 attempts that we've had so far in the Champions League, Celtic have not won on their opening game. That's right, 10 losses and 2 draws in 12 attempts. Crazy to think about. We've never had luck on the opening day. I mean, Christ, we've barely had any luck altogether. It's not just an opening day thing. But on the opening day, not a win. Even in successful campaigns like 2006-07, like 2012-13, where we racked up some wins, never came in the opening day. So this is a huge opportunity for Celtic to start on a win and start on the right foot for the first time ever. You know, we've never experienced that as Celtic fans in the Champions League. We've never started off with a win. So can you imagine how optimistic fans would feel tomorrow night if Celtic can walk out of Celtic Park with 3 points with the start to the season that we've had? You know, it'll be electric. It'll be mad. We can't let the supporters down tomorrow. If we're doing our job in the stands, the team have to be doing their job on the pitch. This is a huge opportunity, and I mean it with all due respect to Slovan Bratislava. As I said, they're no mugs. But if Celtic don't win this game, I'll look at it as a missed opportunity, and quite frankly, I'll look at it as an embarrassment, because you can't be losing these sorts of games at Celtic Park. These are the sorts of games that we've been crying for, that we've been begging for. You know, we don't want groups of death. We don't want Barcelona's, Real Madrid's, Manchester City's. We want the easiest ties possible, so that we can win games. So if we don't win this game tomorrow, what's the point in being in the competition at all? It would be an embarrassment, in my opinion, if we don't win tomorrow night. Obviously, you can lose games in different fashions. You might be unlucky. A call might go the other way. You might get done. You might get cheated. Whatever. There is different ways to lose games. But tomorrow, I think Celtic have to win with no excuses. The money that we've spent, the backing that Rodgers has seen. We need to start off on the right foot. Let's end that horrible record. Let's finally win on the opening day of the Champions League. Let's talk about the opposition, shall we? Heading into this game, Slovan Bratislava, of course, champions of Slovakia. They are a well-drilled side, a well-machined side. They're in the Champions League through hard work and effort. They didn't get put into the competition automatically like us. They had to make their way through a set of qualifiers in which they came across some decent teams, and they done it the hard way. They left it late against Midtjylland in the playoff round to get into the competition. And yeah, they're here because they've worked hard for it. In the league right now, they sit top, as they should, being the best team in the country. However, you will notice there is a blemish to what looks nearly a perfect start to the season. 5 wins and 1 loss. That loss came at the hands of second place side Zelina, where they lost 5-0 on September 1st, the day that we played Rangers in the league. A 5-0 loss. It makes you think Celtic should be able to beat a side that lost 5-0, surely, but it was one imperfection on what is, as I said, a near perfect start. They won their most recent game at the weekend against Dunajska Streda 2-1, so they're back to winning ways. They've put that loss behind them. They also got a win in their cup competition, but as I said, you know, they beat Midtjylland to get here. Remember a couple of years ago we struggled against Midtjylland when we were playing them in the Champions League qualifiers. They beat Apoel, a good side from Cyprus, as well to get here. This is a decent team with plenty of players who can do damage to Celtic. Here is a look at the best players in the squad. Now, we spoke about this in the deep dive, so I don't want to spend too long dwelling on it, but you will notice when it comes to market value, Slovan Bratislava have a squad that is the fraction of worth at Celtic. You know, we have a team that cost a hell of a lot more money and valued at a lot more money. Doesn't necessarily always mean it's better players. Of course, the value in the Slovakian Premier League is a lot less than Scotland. Surprise, surprise. Doesn't really happen that often in Europe. Usually we're the ones dwarfed by financial gulfs. This time round, Celtic have the fiscal advantage going into this game. It doesn't really matter. Anyway, on screen is a case of their best players, a look at some of their best players. But the one that we need to look out for specifically tomorrow night is number 11, Tigran Barsegian. I'm so sorry if I pronounced your name wrong, sir. Number 11, Tigran Barsegian, who has started this season fantastic, by the way. You can see his record on screen there. He's already scored 8 and assisted 2 in the opening 12 games of their campaign. Last season as well, chipped in with a lot of goals, nearly 15 goals in the league. Sorry, I think it is actually 15 goals in the league, and over 10 assists. So he contributed to over 20 goals last season, already contributed to 10 goals in 12 games this season. I believe he is the right winger for Slovan Bratislava tomorrow night. So the defence will have a job looking out for him. A very physical team, Slovan Bratislava, with a lot of height and a lot of presence. I seen someone in my comment section raising the point that Slovan have got a team with over I think 4 or 5 6-footers plus in their starting 11, which can cause problems. Of course, Celtic aren't the biggest side in the world. We don't have a lot of tall players. So, you know, coming to set pieces where we haven't got the greatest record, you know, especially in Europe, we might struggle defending them. But one thing that I have noticed from Brendan Rodgers' side at the start of this season and towards the end of last season as well, is we are much, much better at dealing with set pieces, at dealing with height and dealing with problems in the air. That was something that was really evident, I think, at the start of Rodgers' return last season. I think it was something that was evident even when Ange Postecoglou was here. We weren't good at attacking set pieces. We weren't necessarily good at defending set pieces at times. I think it was one of Celtic's real weak points. But, I mean, this season, Celtic haven't conceded a single goal in the league. And listen, we come across many physical players and many physical sides playing in the Scottish Premiership. So I have confidence and faith that we can deal with that from Slovan Bratislava. But it will be a dirty game. I can just feel it. You know, this is two sides at the bottom end of the competition who need to fight for every single point. I think you'll see the worst of the teams at points in this game tomorrow night. And of course, Vladimir Weiss is playing. So, you know, expect things to get a bit dirty. Brendan Rodgers and Celtic. Let's talk about our own side for a moment. He is feeling confident heading into this game, and the team should be feeling confident because do you know what's just lovely? Do you know what's a blessing and something that we don't have to talk about? We're injury free, man. We've got no worries compared to last year where we went into every single Champions League game with an injury problem. This year, we don't have that. I mean, it's an excuse we can't use should we lose the game, should we cock it up at some point, but we are injury free. I went back and watched the Feyenoord match preview that I'd done last year heading into match day 1. And we were dealing with Kyogo's shoulder injury, for example. We were dealing with another couple of injuries throughout the team. And that was the story of the entire group stage. It wasn't an excuse. We were poor in the group, but it didn't help us. This year, we go in feeling good, looking good. As I said, we've not even conceded a goal in the league, and everyone seems to be firing on all cylinders. Brendan Rodgers said this today in his press conference, that there's absolutely no doubt he feels this is the most ready he's been a Celtic manager coming into a Champions League campaign, which is fantastic when you consider the fact, you know, Brendan Rodgers is now going into his 4th Champions League campaign as Celtic manager. I feel like even as a fan, we can say this feels the most ready we've been with Brendan Rodgers in charge. So there's a real confidence amongst us. There's a real confidence and behind the scenes, it seems, as well at Lennoxtown. We're really just going into this group in really good vibes at the minute. So let's hope I can carry us to the 3 points that we need. If we play the football that we've started with this season, we'll be absolutely fine. I'm convinced of that. I think that there's not a lot of room for error on this Celtic team at the minute. We just need to rectify the problems that have held us back in Europe year after year. And I don't even want to go through the cliches and the same old things we say. You know, first goal matters and silly mistakes. You know, I don't want to get through all of that because we know by now what Celtic need to do or avoid in a game of football to win the game. We're not daft, we're not stupid. But seriously, Celtic are the masters of their own downfall in Europe year after year after year. Brendan Rodgers spoke today in his press conference about how it was the decisive moments that cost Celtic last year, and he's bang on. It was the decisive moments. You know, the decisive moments is why we didn't get all 3 points against Atletico Madrid. The decisive moments is why we lost to Lazio with almost the last kick of the ball. The decisive moments is what cost us the year before against Shakhtar Donetsk. You know, the decisive moments has cost Celtic time after time after time in European competition, and it's time for us to put that aside for once. Tomorrow night, we can't look back and regret. We can't look at missed chances. Kyogo, for me, hasn't had a great start to the season. He needs to be on form tomorrow night. If he's not on form tomorrow night, I would hook him at the earliest opportunity and get Adamida on the park, because if he doesn't start the game looking like he's going to score a goal, he's not going to score a goal. So we need to be decisive. We need to be clinical in that final third. As I said, it's not the time to look back and go, what if? You know, what if that went in? What if he hit that in target? Decisive moments win you games. Brendan Rodgers is absolutely on the money with that. So I hope the squad remember that tomorrow when, you know, we start getting chances on goal. So the starting 11 prediction then, let's go through it. Here it is on screen, the 11 that I think will start against Slovan Bratislava tomorrow night. The biggest conversation heading into this game has been about Rio Hatate. On live streams and my comment sections, we have discussed Rio Hatate at length, and I will leave it at this very bluntly. If you don't think Rio Hatate should start tomorrow night, fair. He hasn't been on great form. But Rio Hatate is one of the best players in Scotland. He's one of the best players in the Celtic team. And it feels like time after time in the Champions League over the past couple of years, he's been one of Celtic's top performers. Celtic are a better side with him and a worse side without him. Even if he's on an off day, he still adds something. The abuse that Rio Hatate has been getting has been over the top. He's a great player. He needs to start tomorrow night. It's as simple as that. I love Paulo Bernardo. I love Arnie Engels. I'll be happy with any of the two partnering. Rio Hatate needs to start. And I know that, do you know what? Saying that actually feels like a controversial opinion for some reason, and it shouldn't be, because this is the same Rio Hatate that we've been touting with 20-30 million pound moves. Everybody has a bad game or two. We've seen our best players. Look, Matt, do you know what? It's the same people who are saying that Hatate's rubbish and shouldn't play are the same ones that were saying that about Matt O'Reilly a couple of years ago when he had a bit of an off season with Ange. And then Matt O'Reilly went on to be player of the year and leave for a club record and a country record fee. Rio Hatate's in that same boat right now. He's a great player, a magic player. Once again, I'll say the same as I said with Kyogo. If he's not playing well, hook him. We have the options, and that's the beauty about this Celtic side at the minute. We've recruited well enough to have depth in our squad. So even if Hatate does start, and if for some reason that gets you down, we've got options. So if he's playing poorly, guess what? We bring somebody else on. But I think Rio Hatate will have a cracking game tomorrow. He's in my starting lineup, and you'll notice the rest of the team is unchanged. If it's not broke, don't fix it. This is a team that's conceded 1 goal all season in the League Cup against Hibs. It's a side that's scoring goals and keeping goals out. Austin Trust, they can't get a look in at the minute because Scales is playing so well, and Scales deserves to keep his spot, in my opinion, for that. Greg Taylor has been fantastic. He's been magnificent at left back, so Alex Baye doesn't get a look in at the minute either. The team remains unchanged. It's as simple as that. This is a team that should be beating Slovan Bratislava, and I've got every confidence that they will. So to finish up, score predictions or whatever. You know, I usually do a score prediction when it comes to these European previews. I'm not going to give a score prediction, but I am going to say I think Celtic will win. I'm full of confidence, and there wouldn't be a point if I wasn't. Yeah, it might come back and slap me in the face, but I don't give a care. Yeah, I don't care. We should be winning. So, yeah. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Tell me your opinion. Sorry for the very poor lighting in this video. I'm going to get new lights and stuff soon, so things might start looking a little bit different. But thank you for tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow night after the game, and we'll see how I'm thinking then. But until then, take care. God bless. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you all next time. Shout out to everybody who has joined the 118 Club or the Thunder Club thus far. Thank you for your continued support here on Ryan118, and enjoy your moment of glory here on screen.